In Italy, a clever criminal named Cyrus is going to a fancy auction house with a plan. Inside, he walks past a disguise expert named Denton and a hacker called Me. He acts like he doesn't know them, but they're actually part of his team. Nearby, Abby leads a team from Interpol, keeping an eye on the event just in case Cyrus tries something tricky. Abby is really angry because she dated Cyrus for a week without knowing he was a wanted criminal. At the same time in London, team members Magnus, the expert at opening safes, and Luke, the person who designs things, are getting ready. In Venice, the first piece of art is bought by Maltzahn for 11 million. Then, the host introduces the artist N8, whose digital artwork is the next thing being sold in an auction. It's a mask made of 482 cameras. This mask will make a special digital artwork, similar to Van Gogh's style, and also show a live 30-second video of when it gets sold as an NFT. Cyrus quickly makes a big offer, and Abby thinks he knows her team is there. He and Denton try to offer more money than Maltzahn, and after the sale is finished, Me quickly turns on an alarm. Everyone begins to leave the auction house, and Abby becomes suspicious. She sends her team inside. In London, the alarm is also sounding, and Magnus tampers with an electronic lock to enter the storage area. Inside, he takes a highly valuable painting, puts it in a tube, and tosses it into the water, where Luke picks it up. Returning to Cyrus, he invites N8 to finalize the deal on his yacht. They exit through the rear exit where pilot Camila is ready on a boat. By the time Abby arrives, they've already left, and she figures out that since an NFT can't be physically taken, they've actually taken the artist. She hurries outside, attempting to follow them on another boat, but Magnussen hacks into several boats, obstructing her path. Abby doesn't give up and boards a different boat. Camila accelerates, taking sharp turns to impede her. Upon reaching the sea, Magnussen activates a barrier, letting Camila pass just in time and leaving Abby stranded behind. Upon reaching the yacht, the team hands over 20 million to N8 for the NFT and kicks off a celebration. Later, Abby and her team review the security footage and discover Denton had been pretending to have a limp. She dispatches her men to find him. The following morning, news about N8's abduction hits the headlines. N8 panics upon realizing they are criminals, but Cyrus swiftly clarifies the situation. The Mona Lisa became really valuable after it got stolen, so they decided to use the same concept. Magnus and Luke sold the painting for 20 million, which Cyrus used to purchase the NFT from N8, and now that's gone missing. The NFT is valued at 89 million. Cyrus plans to split the money with N8, who willingly goes along with it. Meanwhile, Denton has been captured by Interpol, and Abby possesses a picture proving he is connected to Cyrus. As she attempts to question Denton, Abby receives a box from Cyrus containing his paddle from the auction and pictures from the week they spent together. Feeling frustrated, Abby decides to travel to London and take Denton with her. At the British headquarters, she meets with Huxley, who proposes a deal with Cyrus. Initially hesitant because she has been pursuing Cyrus for a whole year, Abby eventually agrees as Huxley explains that there's a mission of greater importance. Jorgenson is an extremely dangerous criminal responsible for countless murders for profit, but authorities never gathered sufficient evidence to arrest him. Huxley has now captured a mole and discovered that Jorgenson is collaborating with the hacker group Leviathan to orchestrate a water-based attack aiming to flood a city and cause the deaths of millions. Leviathan demands their payment in gold, and Jorgenson plans to transfer it from London to Zurich in 17 days. As moving one's own gold isn't against the law, Huxley proposes that Cyrus steals it to thwart the transaction. Abby dislikes the idea, but has no alternative but to accept. In the evening, Abby approaches Cyrus, who declines the job upon learning about Jorgenson's name due to the extreme danger associated with him. Abby reveals that Denton is her, and he'll face a grim fate in prison unless Cyrus agrees to the job. Accepting it would provide complete immunity for the entire team, allowing them to reunite with their families. Cyrus consents but insists that Abby must join the operation. After the guy has been hurt enough, Cormac calls Jorgenson and shows him how a dog eats the traitor. The next day, Abby lets Denton go and meets with the team to share what she found out. The gold bars will be packed in a box, and guards will be around it at both airports. After thinking a lot, Cyrus decides they should take the whole plane. This means they need to use another plane to change the radar signature. To pull this off, they need a private jet, so they go to Maltzahn to ask for his help. Initially, Maltzahn says no, but Abby changes his mind by revealing his illegal flying activities with her badge. Maltzahn then cooperates and explains that everything in the jet is controlled remotely. He demonstrates some features, including a hidden pole and a screen underneath. Later, Abby employs an Interpol hangar to conceal the jet, disguising it to appear like an old and inconspicuous plane. Magnus focuses on adapting his vault-breaking laser to function on a plane despite the turbulence, while Denton experiments with new wigs and beards. Camila encounters some difficulty in the simulation for practicing moving the jet under the gold plane, but Cyrus comes up with an idea. Luke will install all the cameras from the NFT on the jet, so Camila can see everything around the plane. Me also has a program to hack into the GPS transmissions to deceive air traffic control. The problem is that coordinating both the jet and the plane simultaneously while they're moving so quickly seems impossible. Someone at traffic control will notice two planes with the same signal, but fortunately, Abby knows someone. Sometime later, Abby and Cyrus rendezvous with Harry, who works at air traffic control but is also an informant for Interpol. Abby can't persuade him to assist with the helping people argument, so Cyrus offers him $1 million instead, and Harry instantly agrees. Later, the duo meets with Huxley, who informs them they discovered the mole deceased. Due to that, the bank will expedite the movement of the gold in 10 days instead of 17. Cyrus doesn't believe there's sufficient time and wants out, sparking a disagreement with Huxley. Abby silences both of them by emphasizing that this mission is about saving lives. This convinces Cyrus to stay for her. At the hangar, the team watches the news and learns that cyber-terrorists have attacked Madrid's water grid, resulting in severe flooding in the city. 13 people have already lost their lives, and there's a fear that the numbers might increase. Cyrus believes things have become too perilous and attempts to quit once more, but the team is resolute and unwilling to give up. They all agree that they must put a halt to Jorgenson's plans, although Luke expresses some hesitation. Meanwhile, in his mansion, Jorgenson expresses gratitude to Leviathan for their demonstration. After a considerable amount of effort, Mee completes the device designed to hack the plane's GPS. Unfortunately, the device ends up looking like a bomb. With no alternative, they decide that a few of them must board the plane with the components and assemble the device once on board. Over the next 10 days, the team works diligently to finalize all the details, camouflage the plane, practice assembling the device, and ensure that all their tasks are carried out with perfect synchronization. When the long-awaited day arrives, Cyrus and Abby board the plane, posing as a couple in first class, while the rest of the team is strategically placed in different sections. Cormac and 4 other henchmen are also on board to monitor the gold. The team uses concealed communicators to stay connected, but Cyrus notices that Luke hasn't checked in. Cyrus calls Luke on the phone and discovers that Luke got too frightened of Jorgenson, leading him to decide to quit the mission. As the plane takes off, Camila also launches the jet. Misoon, using her laptop, hacks into the plane's information and finds out that Jorgenson's henchmen are on board, meaning they have to proceed cautiously. One by one, the team members enter the bathroom to conceal the device pieces, and then Abby goes in to assemble it. With only 10 minutes until Camila arrives at their location, Abby needs to work quickly. She manages to assemble the device rapidly, but just as she's about to hide it behind a light, it drops and falls apart. Cyrus, realizing she's taking too long, enters the bathroom to assist her. At that moment, henchman Donald becomes suspicious and knocks on the door. To divert him, Abby starts making noises to create the impression that they're engaged in intimate activities, keeping him at bay. Meanwhile, Camila's cameras face challenges due to turbulence, and the signal goes out. One camera even breaks. However, just before time runs out, Camila makes a last-minute maneuver and positions the jet directly under the plane. As the device isn't ready yet, the same signal appears twice on the air traffic control computers. To deal with this, Harry has to distract a co-worker by pretending to feel harassed by her. Fortunately, at that moment, Abby and Cyrus complete the assembly, and the device successfully hacks into the plane, causing the second signal to vanish. In celebration, Cyrus kisses Abby after concealing the device. Following this, Harry contacts the plane pilots, informing them of a fictitious storm and requesting a change of course, redirecting them to a secluded airfield in the Alps. The pilots buy into the fake storm story and alter their course, while Camila deploys a drone to maintain the signal on the original path, deceiving the other traffic computers. The pilots inform the passengers about the change, prompting the henchmen to prepare for action. Meanwhile, Denton pretends to be unwell, diverting the attention of the stewardess. This allows Magnus to take one of Denton's oxygen tanks and sneak into the cargo area. After Magnussen cuts down the Wi-Fi and hacks into the lock securing the gold, Magnus dons an oxygen mask and opens the compartment containing the gold. The pressure variance causes the plane to shake slightly. Gaining access to the gold with the laser will take some time, and the henchmen are getting into position. Donald employs his gun to kidnap a stewardess and attempts to coerce her into opening the cockpit, which Abby witnesses. Simultaneously, the laser causes the plane to shake once more, providing Cyrus an opportunity to tackle Donald. In response, Donald opens fire. Cyrus defends himself by hurling bags at Donald and then jumps on him to disarm him, just as a second henchman enters the scene. Abby joins the fray, confronting the second henchman in a physical struggle, while Cyrus continues his hand-to-hand battle with Donald. As Magnus intensifies his use of the laser, turbulence on the plane escalates, making both fights more chaotic. In a critical moment, Donald tries to choke Cyrus with a phone cable, while Abby shoves a cabinet. This prompts both henchmen to evade the cabinet, resulting in it tumbling downstairs with Cyrus and the stewardess. At that precise moment, Magnus successfully opens the safe and gains access to the gold. Abby manages to knock down the other henchman, but Donald retrieves his gun. Before he can shoot, Cyrus incapacitates him by smashing him against some glass. Following this, Cyrus and Abby attempt to approach Magnus, only to encounter Cormac blocking their way with his gun. Suddenly, the plane lands at the new destination, and due to the frozen ground, it begins to slide around, only coming to a halt when caught by the snow. Shortly after, Camila lands the jet, putting in extra effort to stop it just before it collides with the plane. Unfortunately, Cormac and his 2 men seize the opportunity, capturing Abby, Cyrus, Magnus, and Camila. After confirming with Jorgenson that the gold is secure, Cormac pledges to personally deliver it. Cyrus attempts to persuade him to use the train as initially planned, but Cormac opts for the jet, bringing the team along except for Magnus. Shortly after, Camila follows Cormac's instructions to pilot the jet, but she discreetly presses a button to send a signal to her teammates. Abby and Cyrus fasten their seatbelts as Camila begins piloting the jet in a frenetic manner, causing it to shake. She pretends that it's the gold inside, throwing them off balance. The continuous shaking slowly loosens the metal covers, aiding in the jet's eventual discovery. Meanwhile, back in the Alps, Magnus strikes his captor, seizing the gun, but instead of using it, he puts it down and attempts to make his escape. As the henchman attempts to shoot, the gun backfires, injuring his hand just as Magnus had modified it to do. At the train station, Huxley realizes the gold isn't arriving, and his partner informs him of the failed plan. With the gold now en route to Jorgenson's villa, Huxley decides to call NATO and reports a terrorist threat that requires intervention, indifferent to the potential harm to Abby. Military jets take off as Huxley informs them. Meanwhile, Jorgenson meets with the Leviathan leaders, feigning that the gold delay was part of his own plan to divert authorities. The team's plane is surrounded by NATO jets, and Harry notifies the authorities about civilians on board. However, Huxley falsely denies this, instructing them to shoot it down regardless. In desperation, Cyrus activates the pole to disarm the henchman. He and Abby engage in a struggle, during which Abby seizes the remote control and displays civilian hostages on board on the big screen beneath the jet. Camila executes a daring maneuver by flipping the jet upside down to reveal the message to the soldiers, prompting them to abort the missile launch. With the other jets departing, a henchman coerces Camila into rectifying the situation. She returns the jet to its normal position before confronting the thug. However, he swiftly pushes her back into her seat, breaking her wrist and reminding her to land. Camila feigns control of the jet and then abruptly pulls a lever, initiating a rapid descent. As Cyrus keeps Cormac at bay, Abby manages to reach the controls again and opens the door, ejecting Cormac from the plane before swiftly closing it. Following this, the pair hurries to the cockpit, taking charge of the controls since Camila, with her broken wrist, is unable to pilot. They succeed in preventing the plane from descending further. However, another metal piece comes loose, damaging the hydraulic pump. Despite her pain, Camila puts forth her best effort to maneuver the plane using the engines, and it lands in Jorgenson's garden. Nevertheless, it slides down the road for a few minutes, sustaining continuous damage until it eventually tips onto its side. The gold promptly tumbles off the plane, and Cyrus, Camila, and Abby find themselves encircled by Jorgenson's guards. Cyrus observes a still-functioning camera and alludes to the NTF seen during the auction, signaling me to initiate hacking. Just as Jorgenson arrives to interrogate them at gunpoint, the leader of Leviathan receives a message about Interpol and opts to abort the deal. Enraged, Jorgenson shoots the Leviathan leader in the leg, insisting she revive the deal. When she refuses, he shoots again, intending to kill her. Desperate to protect the team, Cyrus claims to be the Interpol agent. Before Jorgenson can shoot him, the Italian police arrive, encircling them. Jorgenson feigns self-defense, asserting that he only drew his gun because some unruly individuals landed in his garden. Cyrus signals me soon, and the video of Jorgenson committing the murder appears on the plane's screen. With the evidence presented, Jorgenson is arrested. Huxley and another agent arrive by helicopter. Abby, discovering that Huxley almost got them shot, reacts by punching him and declaring that she is quitting. Cyrus and Camila depart on a boat, and Abby soon joins them. Several weeks later, Cyrus pleasantly surprises Abby by repurchasing her childhood home. To add to the revelations, Cyrus discloses that Luke never actually quit. He was on a side mission to steal the gold. Magnus had crafted numerous fake gold bars and loaded them onto the same plane. During the confrontation, he swapped the real gold for the counterfeit cargo, tossing the genuine bars out of the plane. Luke was in the Alps using a remote control to ensure the gold landed safely, leaving Huxley frustrated with worthless metal. Cyrus and Abby reconnect with the team by a lake, and using the remote control, they retrieve the gold from the water. Abby decides to join the team, and Cyrus welcomes her with a kiss. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications to catch more videos like this. Thank you for watching.